Hey everybody, this is Brian with Bear Cards 34, back with another throwback video. This is going to be for Topps Football from 1992. This is Series 2. The overall set had 759 total cards, and there was a Series 1 with cards 1 through 330, and then Series 2 was 331 to 660, and then they had almost 100 that were part of a high series. What we're looking for in here is going to be a Topps Gold football card in every pack. So the 1992 draft class was one of the weaker draft class that I can remember, at least when I was a kid. It was a poor one to say the least. So what we're really looking for in here is going to be the Hall of Famers and getting some, hopefully some notable gold cards. So there are quite a few packs, if you remember from back in the 90s, for those who ripped back then. There was no shortage of cards, and there was no shortage of packs in a box. So this is what you'll see, 15 cards. Prior to this, they had been doing, each pack would contain a 1,000 Yard Club card. And this year, the 1,000 Yard Club cards were only available in jumbo packs. And that left the one insert card for these would be the Topps Gold card. All right, so we'll start things off with one of my favorite players of the 90s, Derrick Thomas. And if you're not familiar, this is a pretty nice design. It's pretty clean. And on the back here, they would highlight the stadium of each team. And so there we go. We got a nice Derrick Thomas, Hall of Fame. Carlton Hasselrig. Got a Rick Bryan for the Falcons. David Alexander. Leonard Marshall. All right, very cool. One of my all-time favorite players, James Brooks. Nice to get that card. Very cool. I think that's right before he signed as a Plan B free agent to head over to the Cleveland Browns. He was only there for a short minute and kind of wrapped up his career at that point. Oh, cool. So we got a gold card of a Hall of Famer. That's Jackie Slater, who blocked for Walter Payton in college at Jackson State and went on to have a great Hall of Fame career, including blocking for Eric Dickerson, Tony Jones, Brett Maxey, Robert Del Pino. It's kind of a cool looking shot. Jim Sweeney. These cards are kind of all over the place, huh? And Jim Dombrowski. All right, next up, and let me show you, so Topps had this, they were definitely starting to up the game with color on the back. It was still a cardboard texture, but they were starting to add some color to the back to compete with Pro Set and Score. But they did come out with, this was I think it was a 44 card set of Topps Finest that came out in 92, and this was definitely their nice high end. You can see here it has that really nice gloss to it. And so this set was very, very nice and really showed what they were capable of doing. So that's a fun one if you guys look for that. They're fairly affordable, I believe, if I remember right. All right, next pack. We've got a Keith Karts. That's kind of cool, doing the spin for the football. Brian Blades, very talented receiver for many years. William White. Got a Jimmy Jones. Jeff Cross. Man, yeah, these are all flipped all over the place, aren't they? All right, so Craig Patterson, Alexander Wright, Tony Tolbert, Ted Washington. Jim Wilkes is our gold card. Got a Bubba McDowell. Hall of Famer Gary Zimmerman, nice. John Giesecke, Haywood Jeffries, who had a couple outstanding seasons, and the late John Stevens, who was Rookie of the Year one season. All right, next up, we've got a Grant Fiesel, Duron Cherry, excellent player, Keith Henderson, Eric Green. Oh, there's another nice one right there. I'd love to get a gold card of Tim Brown, one of my all-time favorite players. Hall of Famer right there. Willie Drewy. Keith Hamilton rookie card, as well as a Todd Light. Jim Price, tight end for the Rams. Got a Robert Young gold card. Donnell Wolford, nice, go Bears. Charles Wilson. Brent Jones, very talented tight end for the Niners for a while. Jeff Criswell, and then a Wayne Martin. Got a couple nice seasons with the Saints back in the day. All right, next up, all right, we got a Steve Berline of the Cowboys, Steve Wright, Todd McNair, Marty Carter, Albert Lewis. We got an Alonzo Mitz, Sean McCarthy, Tim Barnett, fullback Jared Bunch, Raleigh McKenzie, gold card right there. Gary Anderson for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was his second time around. Well, he was on Tampa Bay for the USFL, and then he played for the Buccaneers in the NFL years later after the Chargers. Flipper Anderson, Jim Everett, Eric Sanders. Got an Eric Hill, who's on the cover of the box. All right, there we go. I'll try to include in the comments, in case anybody's interested in picking up a box of this, I'll try to include how close I am to getting the set of this. Jeff Bryant, Ray Crockett, at least the set of Series 2, I should say. Gaston Green, who had a really good year that year. Yeah, in 91, over 1,000 yards coming over. He had only had about 300 yards with the Rams over 3 years before that. Bob Golick, Notre Dame. Hall of Famer Art Monk, there's a nice one. Keith Byers, very talented. He could run and catch quite well. Eric Moten, Donald Frank. Nice Charles Mann picture. Looks like he's about to get the better of Jim Everett there. Then we got a Kelvin Pritchett gold card for the Lions. Keith Jackson, very talented tight end. Farrell Edmonds. Got a David Fulcher. He was pretty awesome. Hall of Famer Chris Dolman, the late great Chris Dolman. And Rick Tootin, punter for the Seahawks. Back when they would make cards of punters. That's a very rare thing these days. All right, next up, we've got an Eric Williams, who's a very talented lineman. Toby Caston. Eric Pegram had a couple nice years with the Falcons. Don Maggs. Mark Dennis. Dalton Hilliard. George Thornton, Keith Sims, Henry Thomas, very good player. Oh, that's a great one for me right there. William, the Refrigerator Perry, gold card, very cool. Bobby Humphrey, had a couple great years to start his career with the Broncos. Frank Minifield, very talented. Merton Hanks, that's kind of a cool warm-up card before the game. Frank Warren, and Scott Norwood. Wide right. All right, next up. We're going to get a Bubby Brister. And, okay. Got a Tim McDonald. He was great. Dexter Carter. Jace Pearson. Trace Armstrong, nice. The late Wes Hopkins. Kelvin Martin, the late David Griggs, checklist card right there, got a Lance Smith. Oh, that's pretty cool. Sean Moore, gold card. He wrote me back when I was a kid. I sent him when he was a rookie, sent him a letter and he wrote me back. So that's a nice one. Glad to have that. Dan Owens, Michael Ball, Leo Barker. The Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye, nice card. Had 1,000 yards that year. And Bubby Brister, at least, well, the year before in 91. All right, so I know that he was just amazing, and then eventually he and Barry Ward would kind of split carries. That would be quite a 1-2 punch, I would think. All right, got a Lance Smith gold card, followed by a Ricky Ellison, Moose Johnson right there. Then we got a Don Griffin, Harold Green, Leroy Butler, new Hall of Famer right there. Todd Marinovich. We got a Mo Gardner. A Neil Smith, very excellent defensive lineman. Ronnie Harmon. John Raid. Dave Craig has the Chiefs logo, so it would have been right when he signed with KC. Chris Burkett. The base card of Jackie Slater. And a Derek Walker. All right, next up. All right, it looks like our gold card. Well, first we got a Will Wolford. And then the gold card here is Don Warren, tight end for the Redskins. Hall of Famer Ronnie Lott. Nice to get that one. Sean Landetta, one of the better punters in the NFL. Robert Massey. Carl Lee. Lemuel Stinson. Sean Jefferson. Anthony Thompson. I thought he was going to be so good. He didn't really pan out, unfortunately. Vince Newsom. Richard Brown. Brian Millard. Tony Woods. Checklist number 1. And then a rookie card of Brian Bollinger. All right. All right, we got a Chicago Bear there. Okay, so Mark Stefnoski. We got a Ray Donaldson Gold. Oh, nice, he played quite a few years. John Taylor. Jeff Fiegels on the Eagles. Gene Chilton. Donald Evans. We got a Jamie Dukes. Got a Keith Van Horn. We got Elvis Patterson. Richmond Webb, one of my favorites. Kevin Gogan. Jim Morrissey. There's the Chicago Bears old school stadium right there. I used to love that. Still do, but Vince Buck. Marion Butts. And Tony Covington. All right, next up. All right, we've got a Henry Thomas. That's a good one for the gold card. Johnny Holland. We got Carnell Lake, Dave Cadigan, Lee Williams on the Oilers. I remember him on the Chargers for many years. That's him near the end of his career. Maurice Hurst, Maury Buford, nice. Jeff Graham, Ron Holmes, Kevin Glover. Got a Tom Thayer, very cool. Frank Reich, the coach of the Colts. Pierce Holt, Chris Warren, very good running back for a few years with Seattle. And a Carl Wilson. All right, next up. Okay, we got a Tony Mayberry, James Jones, got a Brad Baxter, Doug Reisenberg, Matt Brock, Jesse Solomon on the Buccaneers, Joe Morris on the Browns, right? So there's a guy who had a very successful career with the Giants. You can see here he was injured for both 1989 and 90. So he had been out of the league for a couple of years after, a few 1,000-yard seasons with the Giants. So there he is with Cleveland. Peter Tom Willis, one in a long line of nobody Chicago Bear quarterbacks. Nick Bell, Willie Green. We got a Lomas Brown, Raleigh McKenzie. Checklist number 3, Winston Moss. And a Drew Hill, who I always loved. So this is him right after his Oilers career ended. He went over to the Falcons. But that's a guy who, look at that, 1,000 yards, almost 1,000, 900, 1,000. Really from 85 to 91 with the Oilers. He was just absolutely fantastic. Passed away a few years ago, unfortunately. Very talented wide receiver, though. Part of that Houston Oilers team with Warren Moon. And, man, they had Ernest Givens, Haywood Jeffries. Those guys were really good. Nice. Maury Buford, gold card. Henry Ellard, who I think should be in the Hall of Fame. Andre Rison, who's borderline Hall of Famer himself. Bill Brooks. Jay Novacek. Chris Chandler. Dwight Stone. Steve Tasker. great special teams player. Kevin Ross, Lorenzo Lynch, and that's Marshawn Lynch's uncle, actually. Started off with the Chicago Bears. Rufus Porter, Brian Washington. Man, these are... I really wish these weren't all upside down over and over, but Ricky Reynolds, Freddie Joe Nunn, and then Hall of Famer Darryl Green, one of the greats to ever play cornerback in this league. All right, let's see here. Gold of Will Wolford. Hall of Famer Chris Carter right there. Very nice. Rod Bernstein. I'm just going to do it like this. John Flannery, Mike Barber, Lonnie Martz, Brad Edwards, John Kidd, James Hasty, Harold Barnett, Gil Bird, Leon Searcy rookie card. We got a Mark Jackson, who I always liked with the Broncos. And there's a great one. Sterling Sharp, who I've made my comments known. I definitely think he should be in the Hall of Fame. And I know that can get thrown around lightly sometimes, but he was just so dominant until his injury. I'd love to see him make it in there one of these times. So, all right, next up we got a Wayne Martin Gold, Scott Galbraith, Chris Dishman, Sean Jones. There's a Hall of Famer, James Lofton, one of my favorite receivers of all time. Paul McJulian, another Derrick Thomas right there, very cool. Carlton Hasselreg, Rick Bryan, David Alexander, Leonard Marshall, another James Brooks, Charles Haley, Hall of Famer right there. And William Roberts, I said there, and Darrell Thompson. All right, next up. All right, our gold card is Gary Anderson, former 1,000-yard running back for the Chargers. Jarvis Williams, Tom Rathman, Zendejas, Don Mosbar, another Jeff Bryant, Ray Crockett, Gaston Green, Bob Golick, Art Monk again, Keith Byers. We got a rookie card of Bob Whitfield, Terry Allen, who was very good, and David Grant. All right, next up. Oh, cool. A rookie card with the gold. Dexter McNabb. Brian Barker. Anthony Pleasant. Pat Swilling. Vaughn Johnson. Ken Clark. Eric Williams. Caston. Pegram. Maggs. Dennis. Hilliard. Wallace. Strickland. And Newton. So I'm starting to get a few doubles, and I don't want this video to be 40 minutes long. I think after this pack, I'm going to open a few, and then I'll show you what the gold cards are, and then any highlights, and then I'll finish up by opening a few more of these for you. McDonald, Dexter Carter, Pearson, Armstrong, Hopkins, Kelvin Martin, Moten, Donald Frank, a Charles Mann, Richard Brown, and it looks like it's got a little bit of a something going on there with the gold coating. Next up, Tim Goad, Greg Davis, Tony Jones, Brett Maxey, and Robert Del Pino. All right, I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to rip some of these, and I'll show you the highlight. All right, guys, so a few notable cards from that little stack there. Willie Gault with the Raiders, Hall of Famer Steve Atwater. We got this Roger Craig in a Raiders uniform, but noting that he's switching over there to the Vikings. The great Andre Tippett, and I believe this is a Steve Bono rookie card. It's off center, left to right for sure. It actually feels a little thicker, a little wider than the other cards, maybe the cutting process there. Leroy Butler, Ronnie Lott, William Perry base, and then a Michael Irvin. So definitely happy to get those. And for my gold cards, I got a Pierce Holt gold, Eric Allen. We got a Marv Cook, who was quite a good tight end for a while. Mike Mooney of the Oilers rookie card. Greg Lewis, gold. Mark Gunn, Quinn Early. And these were pretty cool for me. Greg Cregan and Al Smith. These are both Utah State Aggie alums, just like myself. And so it was really cool to get those gold cards for those two guys. Okay, I'll open a couple more packs real quick. Summation of those, and then we'll rip the last few on camera. All right, so in those packs, we got another Andre Rison, Hall of Famer Morton Anderson, Anthony Carter, who was a very good receiver in the 80s and early 90s. And then Wilbur Marshall for the Redskins, who's one of my favorites from the Bears. And then for our gold cards, we got a Marion Butts gold, as well as a Tom Thayer for the Bears, Frank Reich for the Bills, and Hall of Famer Morton Anderson with the Saints. It's kind of a cool one with the New Orleans jersey and the gold card like that. All right, so for our last few packs here, let's see how we do. And yeah, like I mentioned in the description, I'll go ahead and put in, of the 330 cards, how close I came to the set itself, in case anyone's curious. William White, who I think he might have just passed away, actually. Might need to double check that, but I feel like that's accurate. Alexander Wright, Tony Tolbert, Ted Washington, and Willie Gault gold. Very cool. Definitely happy to have that one. Bill Brooks, he was very good for a while. Jay Chandler, another Chris Carter, very cool. Bernstein. All right. 4 packs to go. Well, everybody who's watching this, thanks for sticking with me. Hopefully you've enjoyed the blast down memory lane and maybe you ripped some of this yourself back in the day. Grant Fiesel, Ernie Jones is our gold card. Got a Doug Smith, John Flannery, Mike Barber, kind of a cool looking card. Scott Galbraith, Chris Dishman, Darren Cherry, Keith Henderson, Eric Green, another Tim Brown, very cool. Willie Drury, Todd Light, Keith Hamilton rookie card, and a Jim Price. All right, nearing the end, 3 packs to go. All right, so that's a great one for me. If you watch my channel, you know I'm a huge Otis Anderson fan. Speaking of people I think should be in the Hall of Fame, that's a nice looking card. Great card there. So that's after, this is, a year or so removed, a couple years removed maybe from the Super Bowl MVP that he had. That's going to be right near the end of his career there. Another James Lofton, Mike Pryor, the late Jarvis Williams, Steve Bernline, Steve Wright, McNair, Carter, Albert Lewis, Alonzo Mitz, McCarthy, Tim Barnett, and Jared Bunch. All right, here we go. All right, next up we've got Dwight Stone. Oh, that's a cool one right there. Steve DeBerg, I was a big fan of his. So this is later career Steve DeBerg with Kansas City. He played for a long time. He was, originally on with Joe Montana back in Montana's rookie season. Steve Tasker, Kevin Ross, Lynch, Porter, Brian Washington, Charles Haley again, William Roberts, and Darrell Thompson. Okay, final pack. Let's see what we get. All right. Got a Lonnie Martz, Brad Edwards, John Kidd, James Hasty, Harlan Barnett, Gil Bird, draft pick rookie of Bob Whitfield. We got a Terry Allen, David Grant, and our gold card, our final one is, hey, there we go, Vinny Testaverde. Nice, that's a cool one. Pat Swilling, Vaughn Johnson, Ken Clark, Tim Goad, and our final card will be a punter. Great way to end things, right? Greg Davis. Kicker, not punter. Okay, I saw that wrong. So that's even better. There we go. All right, so everybody, just a quick wrap up here. You can see we got quite a few gold cards. The William Perry is definitely a standout for me. There are a couple really cool ones in here. Gault, Otis Anderson. So some nice ones there. And again, some of the players I really like, as well as lots of Hall of Fame players as well. I believe, yeah, that Steve Bono rookie card's nice to have. And some of the greats from my childhood. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'll be back with more soon. Feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, go Bears.